Wagwan Squad, welcome to the first video of Veetober, and if you're new here, my name's V. Welcome to the channel. I know I'm missing a nail, but we're not gonna say nothing about that. We ain't gonna say nothing about that. Jumping right in, I'm just gonna refresh my face with the Mario Badescu facial spray, and then I'm also going to follow up with my NYX Professional Hydrating Jelly Primer just to prep my skin before I do anything. Don't know, we're not gonna do the dry lips this season, so here I am just prepping my lips, moisturizing, make it get supple. Supple is such a weird word. Anyways, we are going to be working with silicone, and I'm just going to quickly show you guys how I made it. I'm just using regular modeling clay. This is kind of hard to work with. I got it at the dollar store, but it still did what it was supposed to do. So all I did was try to mold it and try to flatten it out. You can try using an actual like rolling pin to help you, but I didn't have that, so I'm just make do with what I did have. After getting it all flat, I made sure to smooth down the edges so that the silicone or the latex would be easy to peel off of it, and smooth just the surface so I don't have those extra texture in the silicone itself. Now to get started molding the actual clay, I just like cut out a little fake eye situation right there just so that I know where my eye would go, and then I go in and actually start forming the scales of the snake skin. By the way, this is not my own personal idea. I had actually gotten this from another YouTube video. I think it's called Ellie SFX or something like that. I'll link it down in the description box if you're curious, but they did a similar reptile style, and I decided just to merge this with the idea of Loki, god of mischief, being a snake. So that's why I did this, but I went ahead and made sure that I just make it replicate a snake skin type of thing, and then I just work with whatever it came up with. At this point, I didn't show you which liquid latex I've used, but I will show you some place down in the video. But I just grab a little bit of that and just smooth it over the modeling clay, and I made sure I did this in layers. I made it dry before I put additional layers, and then I also made sure I smoothed down the liquid latex on the edges so that it was easier to peel. This is actually a few days later. In order to ease the process of actually lifting the latex from the modeling clay, I just grab like powder. You can actually use any powder for that, and I just dust it over the silicone, especially the edges, to help lift. And then I just really took my time to lift it off the modeling clay so that it wouldn't tear the silicone itself. So be careful. This was a little bit sticky and hard. I'm not entirely sure what I did wrong. I felt like I followed instructions perfectly, but maybe it's because I left it for like a couple days before I actually peeled it, so that's probably why. So if you plan on doing this, just probably do it within the day of it drying to help ease the process of peeling. So this is the finished look of the silicone. It does still have a bit of modeling clay on the edges, but no worries, I did actually go ahead and cut around those, so it wasn't really a bother for me. The next step was to actually try to fit how I would want it to lay on my face and cut the pieces and place them over, also making an outline of where they are so that I can make sure I put latex where it needs to be. And in order to protect my eyebrows, I just used the Vaseline over them and just wipe off the excess around my eyebrows so that it doesn't affect the adhesion of the silicone mask on my face. What I decided to do was actually lay a layer of liquid latex on the silicone itself, put it on my face, then peel it away so I know where the silicone is supposed to be, and then I just go in with a sponge and add the silicone in those areas so that it would just lay down flat and stick properly onto my skin. So I did didn't quite get the proportions right in how I was making the silicone, so I had to take some like spare pieces and fill in those areas so that it would just look like a complete piece of like an area of the skin rather than it being in patches, because that's not what I wanted. So in order to get the effect that I was going for, I got just like some regular face paint, and I just chose the color green and I covered the silicone with it. And then I also went in with a smaller brush and went in the grooves of the ridges of the raised area of the silicone just to create a little bit of depth. I also followed up with a kind of yellow gold color on the raised part of the silicone to also give the mask a little bit of dimension. I was really happy with how it was coming out, so I did a mini victory dance and I was like, yeah, this is it. In order to give the effect of the skin around the area of the reptile kind of effect, I went around with a couple layers of latex and I let that dry in between layers so that, you know, it gives me the effect that I'm looking for. I would advise not to use your paintbrushes, just use a sponge to apply the latex because it will definitely ruin your brushes. Also be careful around your edges. I definitely did pull out a few hairs when I was taking this off. I don't think I necessarily have to give further instructions because you guys seen me do my makeup, but I just did a regular makeup look on this side, just covered out my brows and everything and added that same concealer onto my eyelids as a primer and brushed that all out. I used the September Rose palette for the eyeshadow look. I went in with this in between green as my transition shade, and then I also tapped into the darker green to create like this snake eye effect where I put the dark green on the inner and the outer corners of my eyes, and then I went in with a yellow to go on the lid. I went back in with the transition shade just to blend that all out. Since I wasn't putting on any lashes, I just brushed my lashes out with a spoolie brush just so that they look together. I also decided to do an eyeliner look, and I went with a double eyeliner look, so one like wing eye and then another wing below that. I also followed up with a yellow/gold liner to go in between that snake tongue liner and also create that little bit of like, you know, the headpiece that Loki wears. And then I decided to go ahead and line the top of that black liner with the same color. At this point, I just started adding my foundation and blended that out with a sponge. I made sure to go over the edges of the latex that create the skin effect and continue to just, you know, highlight where I usually do and contour. I went in and set everything with my Laura Mercier translucent powder, and then I grabbed my BH Cosmetics 28 nude lipstick palette and I just chose like a random shade as a base and added a black eyeshadow to my lips. For my hair, I just pulled it apart and pulled it down, brushed up my edges and all of that. I also added some contacts just to pull the look together, and I made sure to put like a yellow grid 1 over the reptile just to bring the effect of the snake eye. And that completes my Loki inspired makeup. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to bust a like and subscribe down below, and also click the post notification bell to know whenever I post another video, which is probably tomorrow for Veetober. Bye!